Games, board games, it's what I'm talking about. Marketing them physically or online, but I'm not gonna shout. The truth is, though I think one is more fun, the other feels more efficient, has a thing to be done. After all, online you're reaching more folk, though the connections that you deepen at a con are simply no joke. I guess both have their pros and their cons, but I feel like I've let the online bit be culprit to neglection. Board games and marketing, it's what I'm talking about. Board games and marketing, I'm not gonna shout. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. And I am Bez, and it is time for another episode of Bezzy Beats and Board Game Blether. So today, quick show, a quick rant. I wanted to talk, like earlier this week, I decided I'm going to talk about online versus offline marketing. I love going to conventions, and years ago when I started, it actually occurred to me when I started with In a Bind, now known as Yogi, so don't go looking for In a Bind, look for Yogi. When I started with that, I was thinking, hey, I will sell all my stuff at conventions. This is how it's done. I will reach out, I'll phone up shops, I'll get it into shops, I'll do demonstrations at shops, I'll go to events like in-person stuff. And those things are wonderful. I mean, going to leisure games and sitting there for an afternoon and then demoing it, and then the staff members being like, wow, that game really is easy to sell. And so sure, we will buy 30 copies, even though we told you we would definitely not buy more than 10, even if it's a really good game. And I kind of had this egocentric, arrogant I phoned them up and they said, say, sure, you can come in for an afternoon if you want, but just to let you know, even if it's a really good game, we generally won't buy more. I can't remember if they said generally or not, but they said we won't be buying more than 10 of it. I think they must have said generally, because I took a lot with me. I took like 40 copies. I was like, yeah, I'm going to sell so many of these. And people came in. There weren't that many people, no one was there specifically for me. It was just the typical, I think it was Saturday or maybe it was Sunday afternoon, and I was there in the shop all day. But so many of the people that I demonstrated it to thought, wow, this is a really good game. And when I'm at conventions, I have a really good success rate of showing someone something and then saying, and then they say, wow, this is really good. And I'm privileged, like that. Well, I don't know if privilege is the right word for it, but I am fortunate that I'm able to make some what I think are really good games that they can also explain what they are relatively quickly. So I do sell a lot more copies than something which is, if I was working on Euro games, it would be much harder to get that into the market. It would be harder for people to say, yes, I'm going to spend 50 quid, and it would take longer to explain these things. But the kinds of games that I'm working on are things that are super easy to explain. And I'm proud that I'm able to do that. And I do reasonably well at conventions in that I have a buzz and I reach lots of people. But even now, even though my online game isn't that strong, it's still the online shop from myself that gets me sales. It's still the Kickstarter. And I was thinking about this because Dave Salisbury talks about, yes, and your Kickstarter is smaller than the general hobbyist market, which is smaller than the mass, and we shops can help you reach more people. And yes, 100% that is true. As soon as you have people on your cause, if I have, multiple retailers selling Yogi, of course that's going to do far better now. I mean, it sold like a 6-digit number, which, is like less than 300,000, but it's like not the best-selling game out there, but it's doing pretty well. It's doing enough that it's basically allowed me to start doing this full time, and that's phenomenal. And the only reason for that is because, yes, there's in-person stuff, but it's by essentially giving it to other people, like offloading it, saying, yeah, there's all these shops. Hey, publisher's going to do all these demos. Or we've got the network, we've got all these things. But there has to be a certain gravitas. I can't just get my busy bargain bag into a shop. Maybe I can, because they already know me at this point, but it's more challenging. Whereas online, that's where it's at. And I feel like that's basically what I'm saying. Yes, physically, you deepen connections. People learn the game. That's fantastic. I watch them. People get to know me, and I've got some people that I think at this point they might be fans for. As long as I keep making stuff that's generally entertaining, they will keep buying my stuff, which is amazing. But at the same time, online, especially if the barrier to entry, if the cost is fairly low, that's going to result in so many sales. When Rado did a review, did an overview of the LDEC, I got so many sales off that, like, for the next few days, and then it died down. But, like, right now, I'm now on Board Game Arena, and I want to talk about that, but let me pause for a moment. And a couple on Board Game Arena, me in the Golden Geek, and those have been some of my recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, playing games and other delights, recent highlights. What have been some of your recent highlights? I will go ahead and tell you mine. What have you been up to? Have you had something that you felt like this was an achievement? I did a couple of new creatures for Seize the Power. I tested it with them and went over. Let me let me show you this first. So first, I did a bunch of drawings. I've been drawing lots of creatures. This is for a game about quickly grabbing creatures. That's sort of the difference, and counting your radishes. So these are the creatures. You need to know how many eyes they have. So like this one's doing a handstand. It's got 2 tentacles. It's got no eyes. And this one's like, the yo-yos could look like eyes, but no, they're not eyes. You need to know the creature already. I realized that this is basically like playing on super hard mode. So here's a one-eyed, four-armed, two-legged creature, and like 6 wings. The original version where it was, you see, I've been making edits with the red pen, and the original version was a lot clearer. They didn't have these props. They weren't doing, they weren't flailing their legs around. Like normally the legs are clearly all on the ground. Here the 4 legs are kind of dancing around, and 2 of them are kind of flailing around. I might actually change this one to add a little bit of the second leg just to make it perfectly clear. And here again, someone with a guitar who's dancing, and if you just glimpse at that, it's okay, 2 legs. No, wait, it's the birdie legs, and that means that it's 4 legs. And so I'm expecting people to play this once they've played the original quite a bit, and they know that wings means it's 6, the cone head means it's nothing. So like these are not eyes, these are headphones. And again, the tentacles, the chubby belly means that it's 2 tentacles. And yeah, this is kind of showing you the new versus the old. And that's a thing. So yes, I'm proud of those bits that I drew that I was not able to necessarily show you the other day. What else have I been up to? What else have I been up to? Well, I have been up to some playtesting. Yesterday, as I mentioned, I drew some new creatures for Seize the Power. So here we are with 2 of the new creatures being played and 2 of the old creatures. We had 6 creatures, 4 players. I just wanted to see how it would work. I decided I better not play myself. It's always interesting for me to see how people react to it. And I am honestly feeling like some of the bits that I thought would be a no-brainer are not. And so I kind of want to make it clear going forwards that anything can be traded except for employability or your physical being. You can't trade, your eyes or your arms, but you can trade the rules that you control. You can trade promises to use rules. And also what I noticed is that I really need to make it clear you do not need to give someone a rule in order to let them use it. You just say, yes, you can use the rule. But I was there to guide them, to explain the rules. I wasn't giving them any strategic decisions, even when one player thought, oh, if you make that choice, that will totally win you the game. And but I bit my tongue and didn't say anything. Played a really interesting cooperative tile placement game from Matteo Menapace. And this is something where you're... And yeah, I'm not sure why the scoring system was so low. So it was limited to 18 points. I'm actually quite curious to hear about their thoughts behind that. But yeah, you're building this network, and this is meant to be the different parts of the body, and so those are organs, and it does feel like actually those black bits could be a bit more like muscles. But yeah, it was interesting to play. It was satisfying because we managed to get a perfect game. And if it had been, if the scores had gone up as high as we'd wanted, then it would have been, 3 points away from the perfect game. But yeah, we did pretty well. And at that point, it's like, well, where do you go from here? Had a lovely lunch. I treated myself to this mixture of different salads and a salmon thing, and Evan and Matteo play testing my game. Sorry for the blurry photo. They're trying to say, is this a heart or a skull? And you can see at this point, it looks really like a heart. But Matteo hasn't realized, hey, wait a minute, you can extend the entire red bit. And so at the end, this is the finished drawing. And so is this a heart or is it a skull? So you can definitely see some parts of the heart still in there, but lots of it, I feel like personally the skull is more visible. And we finished up by playing this lovely game from Colin, 6 of us, all working together to race. It's kind of like Wacky Races and Mario Kart. There were other recent highlights as well. So one big thing is that now Couple is playable online, which is amazing. So this is in alpha. You can see there's this little bit that says alpha, but I am super excited to have been watching over people's games, and I got in touch with someone to ask them about it, and I managed to play a couple of games myself. Hot Seat, I also managed to play one game of John Snowden. Thank you very much there. And I'm really excited to make this good enough that I feel like, yeah, this is a really strong representation, a really strong advert, because ultimately that's what it is. People are going to be able to play this game for free. Now, when they can do that, why would they buy the deck? Well, they buy the deck because it can play lots of other games as well. And Couple is a game that I think is really strong, and I would love people to try it on Board Game Arena, and I would love people to hear what people think. But already, when I look at how many games have been played, let me refresh it. It says 29. It probably is actually 29. But yeah, so it only went live like a wee bit ago, and there's already been so many games. So that was me and Joe Sondo. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like some of these people played and then they got 0 points. So they're probably a bit unhappy. They're not getting a great reaction from it. But getting to the topic of the day, the point is that all of these people are at least now aware of the game. And once this iteration, once this game is able to showcase it in a good situation, once people can play this and say, that's what the game feels like, I know what I'm doing, that would be, then suddenly I'm reaching people so much more efficiently. And it doesn't require me, it doesn't require any human to be there to constantly be telling other people about it. And this is the sort of thing that, I mean, I have to thank Ufam so much, because yes, it's something that it's going to bring joy to people. There's an emotion satisfaction there. And but more like, yeah, I care about the bottom line insofar as I want to be able to make enough money to eat and to pay the rent. And so reaching more people, if more people are inspired to go, oh, what is this? Yeah, maybe I want to buy this game. And then the other thing that is, I was amazed by this. I did not, yeah, I had no serious expectations of this happening. And so, Golden Geek Awards, for those who don't know, Board Game Geek, most biggest board game website. So, two-player games. I don't know a lot of these. Yeah, I've only played Nanga Parbat and Summoner Wars, and I'm familiar with a few of them. Artwork and presentation, that feels like something that that you can at least vote for, even if you haven't played the game. But really, you ideally want to be able to play the game. But recently, if I'm able to learn the rules and read through that, then I will normally express my opinion. Cooperative games, we've got Burgle Brothers 2, The Adventures of the Crew, Horrified, quite a few games, expansions to existing games. We've got innovation for, yeah, I mean, why are these things innovative? I don't know. People kind of might think that Canvas is innovative because of the transparent cards, or maybe it's innovative because it can be literally hung up on the wall. That's pretty cool. Kabuto Sumo, where you're pushing things around, that's pretty cool. Yeah, Oath again, like Sleeping Gods, is that innovative? It's definitely pushing things, maybe not in a new direction, but it's pushing things further. So we've got the Light Game of the Year. I'm not going to go through all of these. Medium Game of the Year, Heavy Game of the Year, and then Party Game. And this is where I'm super excited. You can tell which one's mine. It's the one with the really long name. A game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises. So yes, that is the highlight of my thing. So let me, yeah. And so I am just amazed to see that. And again, so this is, I spent a tiny bit of energy that might have helped. I mentioned it to a few different groups saying, hey, by the way, please, if you have played a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after it makes noises, remember to nominate it and any other games that you feel are deserving. And so I don't know if it was because of what I did, but it certainly couldn't have hurt. And I think that at this point, it's again, yeah, seeing that's amazing. I'm not going to show you how I voted for things. I am incredibly biased, so you can probably guess what was my number one. But if you have played these party games, then please do, and hello Josie, please do vote, rank these party games according to what you think is a good ranking. There's Print and Play, which I think is quite interesting because there's only 5 of them. And solo games, I think, are there really that many? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 thematic games and war games and podcasts and apps. But yeah, that is indeed a fabulous highlight, and I was super excited by that. What have you been up to? What are some of your highlights? And I am going to send this link to everyone. So if you aren't aware of it, then please go there. If you've got a Board Game Geek profile, then I think you should be able to go there and rank the things according to what you think is correct. And please don't just go there and, rank everything else bottom and me number one because you think that's helping me. Please, at least look at them, and they are party games. So, if you watch a 5-minute video, you should be able to understand the rules, hopefully. But, do it based on what you know. I mean, if you've played, Yeah, if you've played Ultimate Werewolf Extreme or Stella Dixit Universe or Soul Clover or any of these, I mean, so I'm not going to. So actually, you know what? Before I move on, I am going to tell you very quickly. Don't Get Got. It's a game about having secret missions, and you try to get other players to agree to things. And it does kind of create an atmosphere of tension and paranoia where you say to someone, "Would you like a hug?" And then they say yes. And then once you say, "Haha, that was my secret mission to give you a hug. And now, because you accepted my secret mission, I get to tick it, and you got." That Doodle Dash is about trying to be the fastest to draw a thing whilst being recognizable to the one person each turn who's got their eyes closed until all the drawings are finished, and then they will open their eyes. The fastest player shows first. If the fastest player makes it obvious what it is, then they get a point. If the second fastest player does it, then they get a point. If everyone else makes it clear what it is, then everyone else gets a point. And the guesser gets a point if they guess it correctly at any time. The Fuzzies, a game that was kind of like a hit squad of people working on it together, of like these little tiny balls that stack up. A game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises. In case you don't know, there are some creatures, and then there's 5 in a lineup. You make a noise, and someone else guesses what it is. Last Message is a game about you've got a 3x3 grid. You draw a message, and then you are trying to out the murderer, but the murderer is able to erase some of the squares that you drew in. So it's like a 3x3 grid. The first time around, they can delete 5 of those squares, and then they can delete 4 of those squares, and then the third round, it becomes easier and easier. And so you're trying to give people more and more clues to find the murderer. And it's a really interesting for me. Night of the Ninja is a social deduction game, and to be honest, I didn't quite understand all the rules. It feels like there's a lot going on. Snakes is a game about, it's basically a quiz game where some of the people are trying to intentionally get you to say the wrong answer. So Clover is about word association. Stella Dixit Universe, this is kind of like a cross between Similo and Dixit, but with a completely different artist. And for those who don't know Ultimate Werewolf, Werewolf is like the granddaddy of social deduction. It's actually really interesting in that you think that Werewolf or Mafia is a folk game, but it was actually invented at a university, believe it or not. And then Ted Alspach really liked it, added in a lot of special abilities, made it Ultimate Werewolf, and then even more special abilities for Ultimate Werewolf Extreme. And yeah, each night werewolves kill someone, you try to out the werewolf. So that is my rant for everything else. Josie says, I stayed up far too late last night, chatting online and playing a card game with them too. Josie says, just gone to vote, but you have to be a paid supporter to vote. This is the message. You can spend 20 geek gold. If you need geek gold, tell me your board game geek thing, and I will send you geek gold. So yes, or if you have a avatar, I think you can be a permanent voter. Like if you get enough geek gold to buy yourself an avatar. So if you don't have an avatar, get yourself an avatar. I think it's 50 geek gold. I can't remember how much I have. Let me minimize my screen for a minute. Where does it say how much geek gold do you have? I'm sure it says somewhere. Geek gold, geek stuff. I have, my balance is 495. I'm willing to show that. So yes. If you need some geek gold, then I can give you geek gold. And tell me your thing, or you know what? I will make a thread right now on this page, And let me make that a little bit smaller so you can see me bigger. So I will say, how do you have 0 geek gold? Do you earn geek gold by uploading photos and by submitting games? So if you're a designer and you're submitting your own games and you're submitting photos from stuff, then you're likely to get a lot of geek gold in general. Ooh. I do apologize. I'm just getting the power cord. I'm just getting the power cord because otherwise my laptop, it will turn off. Okay, so there we go. And that is it reasonable to do it there? You know what? I'll do it as a blog post, and I will do. Yeah, I'll make a new blog post. That's what I'll do. I had a blog. I can't remember where it was. It was like Thoughts by Bez. There we go. And if I say if I add a blog, so I can submit the pictures of us looking daft playing Yogi. Yes, 100%. Please do submit pictures. You see, people give me geek gold just when they like games, which is amazing. I mean, Cabbage King AF just really liked the fact that's how he had a Kickstarter going, which is really kind of them. Dashboard, and probably not the most exciting thing, but I will add on a thing. Something like, do you want to vote, but you cannot vote? Vote for the... I don't want to tell people what to vote for, even though I clearly have a preference. Golden Geek Awards. And yeah, if people don't... I am just going to say, please, if you've played a game and like it, please vote for it. Josie says, I haven't used Board Game Geek that much, other than to catalogue my games. That's fair enough. I will make this just after this show. So if you're watching this, just because it's not going to be exciting for anyone to see this, but I will make that post. I'll spend 5 minutes on it saying something like, just, I am honestly excited and astonished that I even made it this far. No matter what, I feel like a winner. But obviously, if I actually won, that would be even more amazing. I don't want you to vote for me just because it's me. But if you've played the game and you think it's a good game and you think it's worth voting for, then I'd like you to... Yeah, then I'd like you to vote for it. And everything else that you think is everything else that you've played and have an opinion on, everything else that you you don't even need everything else that you feel you are able to make a qualified opinion on, vote for it. That's what I'm going to say. And obviously the party game section is especially meaningful to me, given that I'm extremely biased this year. I'm going to transcribe that after the show. So yes, that is my recent highlight. And that is an amazing highlight. I'm also excited about... Just has been a brilliant morning. So let's... So, brilliant thing. What's a little thing which is brilliant? Brilliant things. Marketing. I've talked about it before, but let's talk about real-life marketing. Online marketing. What is it? And why is it brilliant? I just think that marketing at its best is getting people to be in touch with things that they would love. So it's not a case of, look, if you're saying, hey, you need this, you need to buy this. If you don't buy this, then you're a worthless human. Obviously, no marketing actually goes that far, but that kind of feels like the tone. That's a lot of adverts and TV. It's like, oh, this makes you sexy. Oh, this makes you strong. Oh, and it's like kind of tarring everything that if you don't have this, then you're not sexy, you're not strong, you're not going to be fit, you're not going to be able to do anything. properly. But at its best, marketing is just saying, hey, here's a thing. And honestly, the more I work on it, the more I recommend that people do not buy a game about quickly grabbing creatures and that sort of totally different and counting radishes, at least until they've bought the other games. And I think that's key. Like, if this is me being genuinely honest, I would not want anyone to play that game without having played the others. Because as I've shown pictures on Twitter, and people have been very, very confused by some of them, someone thought that one of them had 40 eyes. And I'm thinking, wow, okay. Okay, I can see how you might think that those tentacle bits sort of look like eyes, and I can see how now you need the understanding that no, that's not an eye, this is an eye, and that these are the possible heads, and that these are the possible bodies, and these are the possible leggy bits, and then you can sort of play it. But good marketing is honest. Good marketing is just saying, hey, here's a thing. You might like it. And here is who would like it. If you're not those people, then don't worry about it. But thanks for listening. That's what I think good marketing is. And I am totally all about that. Someone on BookTalk, the Facebook group, asked me, hey, if I leave during a demo after you've just explained the game, I feel embarrassed to do that. Or is it a bit offensive? And I said, no, it is not. I actively encourage people who would not like my games to not play my games. And I encourage all my, convention helpers to do the same. And I think everyone did. Like, it's not a case of, please play this game. It's a case of, would you like to play a game about drawing creatures, complimenting the drawings and complimenting the compliments? And at that point, you know what you're getting in for. You're not going to be, whoa, this is a bit silly. I wasn't I mean, come on, with a name like that, you need to expect something a bit silly. And when someone's coming past, I ask, do you like word games? If yes, then brilliant, I have some word games. If no, well, do you like cats? Do you like puns? Well, I have a game for you. Do you like quickly grabbing things? I have a game for you. Do you like making noises? I have a game for you. Do you only like games that take 1 hour or more and they are super thematic and there's lots of bits on the table? Well, then I don't have a game for you. And if that's the only game that you like, then you being at my stand is a waste of time for both of us. And you buying something from me, from my shop, is a waste of money for you. And frankly, even for me, well, if you want to just give me money, then go ahead and give me money. But if you buy something and then end up saddened that you don't like it, that's not good press for me. That's going to result in you saying, hey, wait a minute, I don't like this game. And then you're having negative associations and stuff and potentially leaving bad reviews. Exactly, Josie. It's about finding the game or whatever that best suits the person. And that is why marketing is a brilliant thing. I think that marketing at its best is about listening. It's about offering information. It's about allowing people to not engage. It's about offering people a choice. It's almost whereas evil, I'm going to call it evil, whereas evil manipulative marketing is about forcing a choice and you have to do this, I think the best sort of marketing is, hey, here's some information. Let me know. Would you like this or not? There's a possibility you might not like this. If you hate games that are silly and chaotic, don't play Kitty Cataclysm, and that probably rules out a good chunk of my games. But there are other things. Couple is not a silly, chaotic game by any means. And again, I love what you said, Josie. Marketing should. I actually clicked just as you changed. It's about finding the game that best suits the person. 100%. Marketing should honestly show your product, then the consumer can make an informed choice. Yes, 100%. That's a brilliant way to put it. And that is why marketing, in my opinion, is brilliant. And As always, whether you're watching this right now or if you're watching this after the fact, then please feel free to comment, ask questions, fun, like, follow. Do you disagree with what I'm saying? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Are you inspired to go and vote for me? I'll make a Board Game Geek blog post. But yes, yeah, comment. So I said at the start of the show, and I'm not sure I have anything much more to say to that, so I'm just going to repeat myself. I love engaging with people in real life. I love being at a convention. I love seeing people play my things. I love watching someone else teach my game and then standing in the corner whilst it gets played and then seeing how people engage with it. Maybe they play in a in a way that I didn't expect. And if people learn wrongly, then that's information for me to improve my future games. If people enjoy special thing, when I'm at a convention, this is what it's all about. The reason I make games is to have people enjoy them. And sure, Yogi gives me a lot more money than anything else I've made. But since I gave, okay, I'm not going to say that Yogi has brought me less joy because it has given me opportunities. It has allowed me to do other things. People know who I am because of Yogi. I got to go to Cannes because Jigamic helped pay for me to be there. That was amazing. I met one of my all-time heroes, like Tom Vachon, and they knew who I was, one of the designers of Jungle Speed, and I was like, oh, I love your game, and I played Twin It, and then I was, actually, this is really good. I wasn't going to buy it unless it was really good. I mean, I don't buy games just because of who made them, even if it's like one of my all-time favorite, the designers of one of my all-time favorite games, but they knew who I was, and then someone at Marseille the following year knew who I was, and it's like, wow, people, and it's allowed me to get my games, my other games better known. It's allowed me to, yeah. But outside of me going to Cannes, I don't tend to hear about how much people enjoy the game. I hope that people are enjoying it. I believe that they're probably enjoying it. I know that there's probably going to be an occasional game that gets bought and then it never gets played, which is kind of sad. But I believe that they are enjoying it. But going to a convention, seeing people firsthand enjoy the game and be like, oh, this is fun, and then buying it, and then it makes it real. It makes it just visceral. And Josie, talking about the marketing, says, I love disagreeing, but on this occasion I completely agree. And talking about real life conventions, I thoroughly enjoy real life interactions. Sometimes, though, they are hard to organize. I also enjoy online interactions too. Yes, I enjoy, our chats, and that's nice. But yeah, I guess so that gets me to what's his physical marketing, what's his digital marketing, what's online marketing. So by physical marketing, I mean paying for sponsorship for the bring and buy for Aircon, having a convention presence, spending money on people being there, buying a stand, having posters, having being in a shop, demonstrating your games in shops, and getting people who are, let's say, I think it was Fun Again Games, who try to set it up like a Tupperware party where the idea would be that people would do that sort of thing. Now, that's what I'm going... Now, the posters, even when you're not engaging with the people directly, there's a sense of realness to it. There's a sense of, that the physicality, I think, impresses the people who see it more than a web banner. I might pay, let's say, £100 or £400 on a web banner for Board Game Geek. I could do that if I wanted. I could pay them £400 and then they would show some graphic that I'd made to a bunch of people. And if I do that, people would see it and it would register in their brain. But I think that having it's on a banner that says Bez sponsored the Bringing by, it has a bit more gravitas. And anything in the physical meat space, it feels like it's even deeper. Now, let's talk about online stuff. What is online marketing? I mean, I guess this, like, even though it's not the primary reason why I do this show, I mean, frankly, given my viewership and everything, it would be a terrible reason to keep doing this show if that was my primary reason. But there is a marketing in streaming, in the digital ads that I just talked about, but also in social media, in Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, engaging with people in a mailing list. Kickstarter, having that is its own kind of marketing. And what I've basically come to the conclusion of is that kind of marketing is simply more efficient. It's more efficient in terms of work done to reach more people. When I'm on Twitter, yes, it's taken me years to get to this point, but I can tweet something or put something on Instagram and then potentially, depending on what it is, gets it seen by hundreds and hundreds of people. If I spend a bit of time doing a blog post, it's so much more efficient than me. And even on Twitch, even though there might be like one person watching right now, it's something that anyone can stumble across and, yeah, possibly it almost feels like once you do something a certain amount, like this is definitely past the point of diminishing returns. Like if I did 2 streams a week, that would probably be optimal from a thing. Yeah, I know. Where is everyone today? Exactly. But yeah, but that's my conclusion, and I don't have any real data or anything, but it's just the truth that when I push people to the time that it will take me to change a link, to tweak a link, to make it work, the time that it will take me to change some rules for the couple board game arena page, that is potentially going to be seen by thousands or potentially millions of people, who knows. The time that Chris takes to make the pictures for the LDEC Twitter account, to make those little puzzles, versus the time that it might take to plan out a slightly better convention. Well, at the convention, there's a direct path to sale, which is really good, and that's the thing. Like, that's the thing that I've been missing out on, and you need that direct path to sale. You need to say, yes, you can buy it, and hey, this is where you can buy it. You can buy it at stuffbybez.bigcartel.com, but ultimately, right now, I feel that for me, the online is where I am really dropping the ball. And that's basically it. So thank you very much for listening, and question of the day. Here's a little question before we go on our way. My question of the day for you is, do you play board game arena games much? When was the last time you played a board game arena game? So I just logged on for the first time in many months yesterday, or maybe it was Thursday night, and then got sent this message from someone who I knew was working on Couple for me and saying, hey, it's on Board Game Arena. I was, well, I better go and check it out. So I logged on and then I checked all my notifications, expecting me to have like about 20 games that I had to take the next move of. And Board Game Arena had said, no, these games are no good. You've taken too long over them. You're both getting booted out. And that was interesting because I didn't know that would happen. I guess after so many months, at a certain point, it's just like, well, let's not make it so that people come back and then they have all the stress of dealing with all the games. And in a way, that was quite nice. So, yeah. And so, yes, I checked it out in the morning. I had a look, and what I've been able to do is, so when was the last game you played? I played some games of Couple in the past 24 hours, but I'm probably not going to play any other games on Board Game Arena until I feel like I'm basically able to take a holiday. Because for me, I feel like when I was sick over Christmas and I was like, yay, I'm chilling in bed, and that was really nice. But right now, I think that it's probably not something that I want to start up again. And Josie says, I suppose holding a game open takes up server space for them. Eh, I mean, maybe it does, but they still have the records of every game that's been played previously. So it's still going to count as records. I don't think the server space is really the issue. I'm not sure. But it feels like probably the bigger issue is, I guess, once it's archived, probably it goes to a different server, which might be quite nice. So maybe that it's like because once it's archived, it's in a different place. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. What was the last game you played? Other than Couple, I honestly can't remember. Last game that Josie played was a card game called Last Night. Oh, I've not heard of that. And again, I am going to try and not play because I know that otherwise I'll fall down a rabbit hole. But if someone wants to play something potentially real time, when I have time to take a thing. Oh, it was called Irish 25s. I do not know that. Yeah. I thought a card game Last Night. I thought you were saying the card game was called Online Last Night or Last Night. Ah, man. Okay. That would be an interesting name for a game. Online Last Night. Oh, do you want to play Online Last Night? Or do you want to play Online Yesterday, the sequel? Or do you want to play Online the week before? Oh, those would be weird names. Who would do something like that? Over to you. What are you up to? You can share, but only if you want to. After this, what are you doing? I am going to be checking my YouTube video for where I flashed up my little Board Game Geek blog, and then I will write that Board Game Geek blog and maybe add on the end something like, if you want to vote but can't and you don't have any Geek Gold for a profile, I will give you Geek Gold to get to Avatar until my Geek Gold runs out. So I'll do that for the first 9 people. I think that once you have an avatar, then you can do a lot more stuff. I think an avatar is 50 Geek Gold. But anyway, what are you up to? And then after that, I'm hoping that I'll have a chat with Josie, and after that, I'll get ready to go and see my ex-housemates and party afterwards. But yeah, I'm going to try and take a good chunk of the day off. And yeah, I might also have some breakfast. I don't know what I'll have. Maybe open a tin of something, because I've got all the exciting tins, or maybe have cereal. Josie has discovered a new video game called Kind Words. I do not know that. Is that about complimenting other people? That sounds lovely. Is it a multiplayer game where you write messages to other people and then just make other people smile? I would love that. Or is it not like that at all? Is it like a role-playing game? Tell me about it. While you do, I will recap and wrap up before we finish up. Josie says, yes, I think you would love it. As in, yes, it is about compliments. Amazing. I love this. So it is a multiplayer game where you're writing kind words to other people. I am genuinely excited by this. Okay, so recap and wrap up before we finish up. So to recap and wrap up, I love connecting with people in real life, and honest marketing at its best is just saying, hey, here's the thing, here's the information, you make your decision. Manipulative marketing is saying, we make the decision for you, you do this thing. So manipulative marketing is like an order. Good marketing is like information. That's how I would put it. I think that real life stuff is what I enjoy. It's also what I'm good at, and I'm not going to say that I should stop doing that. And both because of the joy it brings me, and also because it deepens connections. But online marketing is where you're able to reach so many, many more people. And I think it would reward me if I were to spend a little bit of effort kind of maybe streamlining and making sure that, okay, taking those same approaches that I have at the convention, where it's bringing people in, teaching people, giving people the quick pitch, giving people the full rules and information, and then offering them a chance to buy. I feel like I should be thinking about that with my online presence, where it's bringing people in with something fun. Maybe I do occasional giveaways and stuff, but yeah, continuing to, how can I bring people in, and then thinking, okay, how can I give a quick pitch for the game? How can I make sure that they understand the rules and have the full information? And then how, at the end, can I make sure that they are able to then go and buy it? And that's a key thing. If you want to check me out, I am Stuff by Bez everywhere, and my streams. So tomorrow, I am probably actually just going to play some couple, because I'm super excited by that, and I was tempted to do it today, but I already had written a thing. I don't think I've got to. Yeah. Tomorrow is just. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Playing couple board game arena. And then Monday, I will be meeting Naomi Robinson, who's an illustrator from the UK who has done a whole bunch of things. Tuesday, I might. Yep, I'll talk about one of my games. Don't know which one. Maybe it'll be drawing. Maybe I'll do some more drawing on Tuesday. That's what I'll do. Wednesday, Jess Mederingham and I will be discussing what we're up to, discussing preparation for UK Games Expo. Thursday, I'll be talking about something else. And Friday and Saturday next week, I will be basically grieving and doing some quick shows. Sunday, I'll be at Daisini. Monday, the week after that, I'll do a recap. But yeah, make sure to drop in for Monday with Naomi Robinson and share, spread the word. Whoops. Talking about the new video game, Kind Words, Josie says, you can write comments that are sent out to all other players saying lovely things, and write what's on your mind, and people send back messages of support and advice. It's a really supportive and kind community. That sounds lovely and delightful. Hello, Xate. I hope that you're generally well. We're just talking about a new video game called Kind Words, and also I am just wrapping up. But I do hope that you're well. And speaking of Board Game Arena, here's the Board Game Arena community manager. I don't know if, I guess you must have noticed, because the person who was programming, I saw that they'd already invited you to the group. But yeah, there's a lot of work to do with it. I'm really not happy with where it is yet. But hopefully we will make it very good in, a few weeks' time. Or hopefully we'll make it mediocre in a bit. And then, yeah, good within a few months. Okay, so you're all auto-joined, but did you notice that Couple was an alpha game then? Did you actually notice, or have you... Yeah, I assume you noticed. I assume you at least kind of saw, oh, Couple. Oh, Bez must have got there. Good for Bez. Between alpha and release is still a lot of work time. It'll get there. Yeah, I am excited for it to get there very slowly. I genuinely want it to be like a really good thing, and I hope that UFM doesn't feel the need to rush it, because, yeah, I wasn't sure if it was appropriate to just reach out, but what I did is I messaged the people who've been playing and saying, hey, I noticed this. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions? And yeah, and so I actually reached out to kind of talk to someone directly this morning. They're based in America. They were up like really late. And yeah, Xate says, once it's in alpha and beta, you get a lot of good feedback from users too. Yeah, I mean, maybe I could talk. I still haven't had you on my show since, you became community manager. Now you're just too good to appear on the stream anymore. Like, you're dejecting me. Xate is like, Bez is no longer good enough for me. I can deign my presence and pop in and say hello, but I will never appear on that dirty screen again. What's up with this hideous human person? I mean, I'm not saying that I'm hideous. We could do it in real life when I'm in London. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, remind me when you're actually in London. I think you've told me. I am going to be in UK Games Expo from the 1st to the 7th. And I think that if you want to come up early, then there is probably going to be a spare bed, because I'm sure at least one of my volunteers will not need the bed on the Wednesday night. But Josie asks, does it take a long time to get a game on Board Game Arena? It depends on the skill of the programmer and the complexity of the game. So Couple is a relatively simple game. I mean, relatively, compared to Ruins of Arnak or Teotihuacan or Agricola. I mean, certainly compared to Agricola. But awesome. Boom. Thank you very much. That sounds awesome. And so, yes, I would definitely be up for that. And so, yes, I'm only playing my own games on Board Game Arena for the moment. I already said earlier, I'm not falling down that rabbit hole until feel like I can take a holiday. But yes, I've already, so new plan. Yeah, let's talk after I've done my blog post. But Xate, it's been lovely chatting, and 20th, yes, I don't have anything planned. I've got a personal appointment on the 24th. I'm doing general UK Games Expo preparation, but other than that, not much. So you can't talk me into the game of Tapestry. No, you can't. I do apologise. But for now, lots of love. And to answer stream elements, I am finishing the stream because there are other things that I have to do in my life. As much as I love you both, as much as I love everyone, you know, as I could stream for ages. Like, I hate finishing things. I hate starting new things, but it has to be done because things have to be done. So much love. And for now, thank you, everyone, and bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song to do. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. And bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye-bye, everyone.